defense has played really well out of the locker room. I think you've given up barely 50 yards over those teams. Take me into the locker room at halftime. How does the defense adjust to what an offense is doing at halftime?
I feel like we just really read our keys and really focus on like what we're messing up. I mean, the things that we do well, I feel like we're supposed to do those things well. I mean, that's the game of football. You practice all week to get those things right. So when we execute them right, we're happy. But at the same time, those things that we get wrong, we have to fix those things. So that's really what we primarily focus on.
What are the biggest keys to like a good rush defense besides good tackling? I think the biggest factors in having a good rush defense.
I mean, really, it starts up front with us. I mean, we just got to hold the points and like read blocks and making sure nothing comes in our gaps and like making sure we push everything that's supposed to come on the inside to the outside and let the outside defenders handle what they got to handle.
How would you assess your performance in that so far this season?
I feel like I did pretty good, but there's always room for improvement.
Michael, I think you guys got in around 1 a.m. the other day after the game. South Carolina was off this past week. You guys played 3 opponents this year that have bye weeks while you guys have a game.
Right.
Does that stuff factor in terms of you guys dragging maybe and them being fresh because they have a week off? Do you think that factors into ever having teams perform on Saturdays?
No, not at all. I feel like Muschamp is just like how Coach Smart is. So on those bye weeks, I feel like they got really good work in. I mean, every day in SEC, you really have to prepare like, you're going into battle because you never know. I mean, they're going to give us their best shot. I mean, they've been well rested and they've been probably working hard and, watching film and as well as watching our games to see what they can capitalize on. So I feel like they did exactly what we did, try to, find the mistakes and stuff and just try to capitalize them and not do it for their team to hurt their team.
JR was saying in the locker rooms at halftime the coaches aren't real, rah-rah and screaming at you guys, more of a calmer attitude. How does that benefit you guys, the coaches that are not, they're not just screaming just to scream, they're trying to get you guys better?
Because they realize in no game everything is going to be perfect. They realize that, you're going to make mistakes. So when you make those mistakes, let's just not let them happen again. So they just really just try to help us correct those mistakes that we made.
Like how much pride you guys take? You have not allowed a rushing touchdown yet through 5 games. I don't mean the jinx or anything. Is that something y'all think a lot about?
We don't really think about it. We just think about doing our job and playing the next play. So it's like all that other stuff is just like outside noise. We just really focus on what we're supposed to be doing.
Well, why have you been able to be so successful doing that though?
I mean, we just really, hone in on technique. Like I've been saying week in and week out, we just hone in our technique and do what we're supposed to do. And I feel like those things will, happen. Like good things will happen if you just keep working and don't really pride yourself on like, oh, you're doing good, so let me just like rest a little bit, take off. No, it's every day is a work day. Every down is a work down. So you really got to work to keep that success going.
What's your favorite thing about working?
Julian Rochester when he came out, when he was having a pretty good game there. I saw you talking to Julian on the sideline.
Oh, I mean, I was just telling him good job. I mean, I know he was getting back into things, getting back with that knee injury. I mean, I know about that all too well. So it's like, I just know how he's just trying to, develop that confidence back in himself and, just getting back to his speed of the old Big Jew that we know.
Was he talking to you? He's on the sideline. He got a tackle for loss.
Right.
And it holds up the one. Was that to you when he was pointing?
Oh, I mean, I don't know. That was just a celebration. I wasn't even paying attention to it. I was happy for him, but I wasn't here, really paying attention to that.
What's your favorite thing about working with Coach Trey on the defensive line?
Say that again?
Coach Trey on the defensive line, what's your favorite thing about working with him?
You talking about Coach Scott?
Yeah, Scott.
Yeah.
Scott, yeah.
I mean, he really just helps everybody, develop what they're supposed to develop as far as like, if you're good at this, let's hone in on that and try to get everybody, new techniques and like really coaching us every little detail it is about the game. So
what's his personality like?
I mean, he's a funny guy, but when we get on the field, it's all about working, really doing what we're supposed to do and being that dominant force up front.
Michael, y'all have been really good in the third quarter so far this year.
Right.
The last couple of weeks, it's been close at halftime and y'all have just really put the foot down. What is it about the third quarter of some of these games that y'all are doing?
I feel like when we go in that first half, we're going to get their best shot, so it's going to be some things that we haven't seen. So, like, coming into halftime, we just make adjustments to those new things and, like, really just try to hone in on, like I said, what we were doing wrong. So I feel like we just try to capitalize on what they're trying to do and out-scheme us wise. So I feel like when we capitalize on that in the third quarter, we just, do a good job of that. So I feel like we just need to be more consistent.
And how much fun is that deep into a game to kind of take control? I mean, you can go back to that Rose Bowl where Oklahoma was way up at halftime and y'all turned that thing around in the third quarter. What about just the third quarters of games feels good about when you're that deep into it and you're starting to own things?
But like I say, we just capitalizing on what they're really doing well, what they're executing us, and we just executing on us. But I feel like we just need to communicate better on the front end so we could just do it from the jump rather than in the third quarter. It's really about communication and telling everybody so everybody's on the same page rather than one side doing one thing and the other side doing something different. So it's about communication and whatnot. And I feel like we do a better job communicating as the game goes on because we're like, okay, what's happening here? What's happening there? And it, progresses.
What's Julian going through? So you know about what he's been through before.
Right.
Where is he at? Because we've seen him practicing for a long time
Right.
since this ACL. For him to get out there and play, what was going through his mind in that first outing back from a knee, and what's still going to be ahead for a guy coming off something like that?
I don't feel like nothing was going through Julian's head. I mean, he knew what he had to do, go out there, be out there for the team and execute and play his part like everybody else. I mean, there's nothing really much to it. Julian's still Julian. I mean, he just got to get back in the realm of things because, I mean, he's been out of it for a while since we played Texas.
Yeah, I was going to say, sometimes you just hear when guys have a knee that there's a question or that there's a moment of truth
Right.
or they got to get kind of over a hump before they can just cut loose and not think about
Right.
it. I mean, did you sense that in practice that he's been fine for a while now, and how was it for you before you got all the way back?
Yeah, I mean, with anybody with a significant injury like that, it's going to be hard to, overcome that because you're just trying to get back in the realm of things and, you're just trying to not think about that and you're just trying to play the game of football, which you know and love. So I feel like everybody goes through that. So I feel like he's just going through that. He went through that stage for a while, but I mean, I feel like he's back to himself right now. So
What did you say to Jordan Davis when he came out?
Oh, I mean, I told him we got him. I mean, like, what we go by on our defensive line is we're as strong as our weakest link. And at that point, we knew that he was a big part of our chain and that link. And I feel like him getting injured, everybody else had to be as strong to help him, carry him.
How'd y'all do in that? How'd y'all end up doing, when you grade out and everything else on the interior D-line?
I mean, Coach Smart and as all of the coaches, always say next man up. I mean, we really pride ourselves on the depth we have. So I feel like next man up. So I feel like Jordan went down, I'm the next man up. So I feel like I had to take that load as well as all the other defensive linemen to just go out there and execute and do our jobs efficiently because we were one man down. So we didn't expect that to happen. So we just know the load is on us now. So we got to, go out there and execute better.
Michael, growing up in South Carolina, how
Right.
much extra juice do you have for this game?
Say that one more time.
How much extra juice do you have for this game?
I don't really have no extra juice. I mean, I'm from there, but at the same time, it's like I treat South Carolina like I treat any other team. You got to go out there and execute and, be out there for my teammates. So
Did you consider them as a college?
No, sir, I didn't.
Mike, I wanted to ask you about Brian. One of the things you kind of notice when you watch him run on Saturdays is like the patience, the getting in there and almost stopping and
Right.
waiting for something. Does he do that against you guys in practice?
Oh,
and how
most-
hard is that to deal with?
Most definitely. I mean, I feel like he really reads his blockers well, and I feel like he's a relentless guy. He's just a downhill runner. And I mean, that's what you love to see in running backs, and I'm just glad he's on my team. And you get to practice against guys like that because when it gets to a game, it's like you've seen it all before. So it's like it's nothing new to you. So it's about honing in on what you're supposed to do and getting the offender down.
Like, what do you make of the slow starts by this team in the last two games? Obviously, you guys are unbeaten and, won convincingly Saturday, beat a top 10 Notre Dame team. Does it bother you guys at all that you guys are kind of slow in the first half?
No, I mean, I feel like we look at every team the same. Like, everybody's going to give us our best shot. I feel like they see us as one of the top teams in the country. Everybody's going to give us our shot on any given Saturday. So I feel like we just need to go out there and execute.
So you think they're getting you, like, at the top when they have a lot of energy, a lot of emotion, and then you guys are talent's taking over, game plan's taking over?
No, it's not even game plan taking over. I feel like they schematically try to scheme up some things, to get at us early, get on top of us early, and feel like that we're going to shut down and whatnot. But at the same time, we go in and hone in on our keys and realizing what they're doing and just going and communicating it effectively and executing. And I feel like that's what makes us really good.
Tell us what it does for the.
How much difference do you feel between Mel Tucker called defense and the defense as it's being called now?
I feel like there's you can't really compare the two. I feel like they're both good at what they do, and I feel like they both know how to really capitalize on calling plays at that team because the team that Mel Tucker had and he was calling plays for is not the same team we have now. So I feel like they just did a good job on both ends, executing and calling plays.
You feel there's any difference?
I mean, not really. I mean, we're calling more, little bit different stuff, but I feel like it's necessarily all the same stuff.
Well, what percent is the same? 67?
I mean, we're just, we really pride ourselves on Havoc now. So, I mean, between the two, that's literally the only difference.
On the Tate Crowder score, what does it do for the defense for defense has scored.
I mean, it makes our havoc rate go up, and it just lets our offense know that we got their backs no matter what. Like, we can get on the board as much as y'all can get on the board. So that's really what I have to say about that.
Michael, how do you think this team's doing in terms of tackling? I know, points per game, yards per game are one thing, but when you guys look at film, how much are you seeing like the little guys miss with tackles here or there that's more than you expect?
I mean, everybody's not going to be 100% with tackling, and I feel like we pride ourselves on if somebody misses a tackle, it's going to happen. There has to be somebody else. That's why we always have to swarm to the ball. So it's like we always emphasize and practice 11 hats to the ball. So I feel like if one person misses a tackle, somebody else should be right there. So I don't really see that as an issue because I feel like there's always going to be a defender there. But I mean, there's always room for improvement.
Run defense versus havoc. I mean, those are two different things, but it looks like you guys have really prided yourself in your run defense. Can you just talk about that commitment and what it takes to keep teams out of the end zone?
Like I said, it starts up front with the defensive line. So I feel like if we hone in and making sure nothing comes between tackle to tackle, I feel like we're going to do a good job of pushing everything to the edge. And I know our outside defenders will do a good job of making sure it doesn't get as far as too many yards.
What's Malik Herring done to get himself on the field? I know early on, I don't know if he was in the doghouse, but he didn't play on a road trip.
Right.
How's he been able to realize his potential this year?
I mean, he really has been focusing on improving his craft and his technique, whether it's pass rush moves or this, that, and the third. And I feel like he's doing a good job thus far, and I feel like there's always room for improvement. But like I said, like everybody else on the D-line, we just always pride ourselves on improvement and technique.
What's the role of a guy like Monty Rice in stopping the run? Like behind the defensive line, inside linebackers, how do they help y'all?
I mean, anything that slips up between us and for the nose and tackles, I feel like two on us, somebody's gonna be free, and I feel like we free up those linebackers a lot, so they can make tackles. So I feel like it's a good team defense. Like if we're holding up these blockers and whatnot, and then you got linebackers coming free, so I feel like that's what we pride ourselves on.
When Jordan went down the other day, as a group, as a unit, what was going through your mind? Was like, hey, we got to all step up here, and what kind of happened?
I mean, we have one fallen soldier, but I feel like we're as strong as our weakest link. So we just knew we had to pick the stack up and just keep going out there and playing.
Michael, what do you remember about that game against South Carolina 2 years ago? You guys were number one. Kirby started it with the onside kick. And kind of what he told you guys about, we might be at the top of the rankings, but we can't be complacent just because of that.
Yeah, I mean, Coach Smart always says that you can't be complacent to where you're at. There's always room for improvement. Everything we do well, I feel like we just got to execute. Now, like when we play South Carolina, I feel like he was just, like I said, everybody's going to give us their best shot, and I guess we try some stuff too, so I don't know.
Is that something that gets hard to maintain over the past 2 years? And then obviously that game was before the national championship, before everything that happened last year and this year. Has it been hard to maintain over the past couple of years?
It's not hard to maintain because you don't look to the past because the past has already happened. You can't really change the past, but you're just looking toward the future and like what you can do to get better and improve this team, improve this organization, and bring it back to Georgia standard.
Talk about the big hits in your secondary. You saw Eric Stokes for the shot. I mean, you guys watched that in team film together. Was there a lot of oohs and ahs or?
We haven't watched no film of like last week's game. We probably watched it on our own time, and we saw like Twitter views because I literally came straight from class to here. So we haven't even had a TV.
Did you see it in the stadium on the jumbotron, the replay, or anything like that?
I didn't see it on the stadium. I saw it like I was looking at the field, and the only thing you see is a quarterback getting level. So, I mean, it was a pretty good, hit.
Is that a surprise? We see Stokes out here. He seems like, he looked like Stone Cold Killer out there. To see that side of him come out,
no, because, in practice, we obviously can't take no guys down like that. But I feel like everybody on this team can make hits like that if they're, presented the opportunity. You just got to capitalize on it. And I feel like Stokes did a really good job on capitalizing on that.
You have the situation where you got to maintain your gaps. You engage those blockers and freeze up the linebackers.
Right.
As a defensive lineman, is there a shot where you're like, Coach, I don't want to engage this guy. I want to get past him.
No,
You see what I'm saying? It seems like you look like, hey, I want to get in the backfield, take this guy down. I don't want to have to.
If you see like an opportunity to go make a tackle, yes, then go make it. But at the same time, I don't want to do anything that's gonna hurt the defense and whatnot. So I feel like if I just gotta hold up these blockers and then go make the play, then that'll be fine. Because you never want to just go shed a block too early, and then your linebackers are free, and then it's like a 20-yard gain. You really have to play within the means of the defense.
Is that something you've worked on?